Greetings, and welcome to the MOEToday manifestation series. Um, and I thought I'd jump on here a little bit early just to give everybody time to jump in. I see Cynthia M. Wa alaikum salam. I see Brother Lamont. Wa alaikum salam. He said, casting you on the big screen, sister, I'm ready. All praises due to Allah. That's scary when people put you on the big screen because you be thinking, ooh, do I have a pimple or something? But thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. We're going to give it, we got a lot of information to cover tonight. So I'm going to only give it maybe a couple of minutes and we're going to dive right in. So 3 minutes. We'll give them 3 minutes to jump in and then we're going to dive right in because we've got so much stuff to talk about today. And I have to give an intro and explain everything. So that takes a little bit extra time. Next time we'll be able to start right away. So we'll give everybody a few minutes. I didn't even bring any music or do anything like that today because I was so concerned about the time. Let me just, I'm going to just. I'm typing in here, thank you for joining me on this journey to becoming a powerful manifestor. And I say that because it really is a journey. It really honestly is a journey. That's real talk. It's a journey. So when we're going through the course, and I'm going to go through the questions, I know a lot of you probably did not read the first part, but that's okay. I'm going to give a little intro and then I'm going to jump right into the study questions and give you the homework for next week. Okay. And my thought is what we'll do is if you have questions, you can put your comments in the chat and I'll tell you some things to type in the chat. But if you have questions, all you have to do is, this will do. I'll create a post, okay, on this, and we'll put it up on social media. And you guys can put your questions there and we'll be able to answer them publicly so people can check them out. Okay. So it looks like we got a few people on. And if you can say something in the chat for me to let me know you're here, if you can hear everything okay, we're going to get started in 1 minute. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sister 19. Oh, Sister Ivanka. Yes, ma'am. Walaikum salam. Thank you. All praises due to Allah. This is something that I take myself through. So I'm not saying anything to you that I haven't gone through myself, and I'll speak to you a little bit about, my challenge and just kind of how I came to this space in the very first place. So a few seconds, make sure y'all got your water, you got your notebooks. And this will be up here, inshallah, for you to be able to go back and listen to it again, because it's going to be a lot of information. And you kind of got to get used to the way the book speaks, because it was written a long time ago. So it has a certain standard English type of vernacular, I would call it. So you just got to get used to that. And just take your time, but you'll get it. You'll be all right. After the first class, you'll be fine. All right. So we got people here and we are going to go ahead and get started. It is 7:00 on the dot. No CPT time, color people time over here, right? Okay. So again, like I said, go ahead and you can comment in the chat. But if you have questions, my suggestion is that you just write the questions on your notebook. When I create the post and put it up on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, you can then put your questions up there and we'll answer them, because more than likely, um, more than one of us will have, right, the same questions. So many of you here are Muslim, and like I am, and I like to say Assalamu alaikum. And that also just means peace be unto you. That's for anybody who's here who don't understand what that means, or just doesn't think we're speaking this big foreign language. It just means peace be unto you. And the idea, especially during these trying times, is that we wish one another peace, so that no matter what happens, and no matter what situation we find ourselves in, we can always have peace in whatever happens. So that's the idea there. Okay, so this is the MOEToday manifestation series. Okay, and I like to pick quotes that I use at the beginning of the class that kind of speak to the overall theme of the course. And today there's two quotes by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that I decided that would be our kind of overarching thing that I want you to keep in your mind here today. They are this: the power of frustration actually twists your intelligence. And the other one is, thought is the power that changes your physical reality. Okay. And again, like I said, assalamu alaikum to everyone. We do these things here at the Mind of an Entrepreneur movement, in peace, with the idea of peace, the idea for us to expand and grow. So welcome to the MOEToday, or the Mind of an Entrepreneur today. And that's what MOEToday stands for. This is our series on manifestation based upon the book written by Charles F. Hannal, called The Master Key System. And this series is an extension of my brand, The Mind of an Entrepreneur, or MOEToday, like I said for short. I developed this series back in 2011, just 2 years after I started the Mind of an Entrepreneur movement. And I made it part of my weekly radio broadcast back then. And it became the foundation for the second part of the Mind of an Entrepreneur book. And so instead of publishing it as a book, I decided to recreate the series, because I know most of us ain't trying to read these days. For those of you who don't know, I'm Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I'm a business and real estate developer. I've managed and developed over $500 million worth of projects in various different industries. I'm striving to become a god and a powerful manifestor. I've been studying and focusing on this subject for many, many years, especially once I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say, thought is the power that changes your physical reality. That sent me on a journey. And after going through a number of significant trials in my life, I could bear witness to another statement where he said that the power of frustration actually twists your intelligence. And that one actually hit me like a ton of bricks. You see, part of my mojo, if you will, has always been my intelligence since I was 4 years old. Other girls are pretty. I was smart. I knew how to read, and I don't remember anyone actually teaching me how to read. That's real talk. I just knew how to do it. I remember being in kindergarten and wondering why the books we were reading were so simple. And then I remember going home. We used to go to my grandmother's house after school. And I remember saying to her, I think she said something like, how was school? And I said, I don't know. I don't understand why these kids can't read. And I remember her laughing and telling her friend Doris over the phone what I said. And I remember thinking, okay, what is so funny? I also remember being around that same age, and my mother was having a conversation with someone, and she started to spell out her words. And I remember thinking, why is she spelling everything? It never dawned on me that she was spelling because she didn't want me to know what she was saying, but I knew because I already knew how to spell and how to read. And I have countless memories like this where I remembered being frustrated because I didn't need anyone to teach me how to read. So with this history, and this is real talk, honestly, I don't remember anyone teaching me. I already knew how to read. I remember just knowing how. I remember when people would sit down to teach reading, I'd be like, okay, and that says such and such and such and such. So when that becomes your mojo at such a young age, like it was for me, I was in for a rude awakening as a young adult when I realized that my intelligence was being twisted by my frustration. I was like a young superhero, and my superpower just wasn't working. But you see, oftentimes when we are accelerated students, the adults around us are so excited by how smart we are that they forget about our social and emotional intelligence. So, disappointment in our lack of success as adults is a big deal. And dealing with disappointment becomes a real challenge, oftentimes, for those types of children. Most children who are accelerated learners do not grow up to be leaders because we tend to lack social and emotional intelligence. In other words, we often have a low EQ because the academic acceleration does not allow us time to develop socially and emotionally. So, my parents worked to compensate for this. They took us everywhere. I mean, many places, and I mean everywhere, so that we could learn to deal with difficult or challenging situations so that by the time I graduated from college and went into the workforce, I was able to at least identify what my setbacks were. And when I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say that self improvement was the basis of community development, my thought was that if I work on my deficits, then I could likely continue the acceleration of my intelligence, which I would later measure by my ability to manifest. I wasn't satisfied by just being the smart person in the room or labeled the smart person in the room because I knew smart in this world means safe. It means restricted. It means boxed in. I wanted to be a powerful manifestor. I wanted to be free in my mind. I wanted to see my thoughts materialize. So I hope y'all doing okay. I see y'all talking in the chat. Thank you all for joining if you are joining late. So anyway, my thought was that we need mental strategies in order to do for self and to navigate the world of business. And like I said earlier, in 2009, I started to study and gather data. And my father passed in 2009, actually January 17th, 2009, actually. And I'm a firm believer that when a close loved one passes, although the pain can be immense, the mercy and grace of Allah is so powerful that we will often find our lives going to the next level in the midst of the grief, as long as we don't worship the grief or make the grief state of mind a part of our identity. And this is what happened to me in 2009. So, the Mind of an Entrepreneur brand of products and services explores mental strategies and offers free game on how to navigate the world of business. I offer a unique approach to business that combines traditional disciplines with consciousness. I'm an international businesswoman, as you mentioned. I like to call myself an industry disruptor, global thought leader. And real estate and business developer. And like I said, I'm striving to become a God and a powerful manifester. So again, thank you, everyone. My goal is to help marginalized people around the world. Marginalized just means that you have been pushed out of the center of opportunity. And that can happen within your church, within your sorority, within your family. You can just be pushed out to the side, marginalized, where people just kind of ignore you and think that you're not really going to amount to anything or hope that you're not going to amount to anything, but pushed to the side and pushed away from opportunities. And my goal is for those of us that are marginalized and have been marginalized around the world, that we gain access to tools and strategies that will help us to become stronger, healthier, happier, wealthier, and to experience more love. And I'm working to build a model using mental strategies that will help make doing for self infectious. I'm about encouraging the creation of millionaire and billionaire conscious entrepreneurs who profit with a purpose, solve problems, and introduce much needed goods and services in their communities. So, anybody, can y'all see me okay? Let me know if you can. Somebody said, actually, I don't see any of you. However, it's a blessing that you have joined. I don't know if you mean that you can't see me. Say something in the chat if you can see me. I'm not really sure what that means. Um, Everybody can see me. Video looks good. Okay, great. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we'll keep going. Um, those of you who know me, you know I am completely fascinated by mind science and understanding the pliability of our minds. I am fascinated by the 25,000-year history we learn about as followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The thought that there are scientists who read the minds of the people, then multiply their thinking and show what our thinking produces in terms of actual events, and then deducts what type of people these events will produce and the type of people that will shape these events and what the event will produce. That's just fascinating to me. It's all based on math and using your mind to multiply and expand. So I'm all about expanding my mental vocabulary, my mental toolkit. Type that in the chat. I'm about, and this means you too, about expanding our mental vocabulary and our mental toolkit. The basis or foundation of my mindset, for those of you who know, is Islam as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So when I study, that is my set point. So I'm not looking to change anyone's religion, nor do I introduce any concepts that are designed to change anyone's religion. For me, this is personal. It is about accepting who I am and allowing Allah to flow through me. And the more command I have over my mind, the more I can be of use to Him. You have to decide what your goals are in this and what you what information you want to use moving forward. That's not something that I can do for you. Okay, so this book talks a lot about God, universal mind. Just understand the set point that where I'm coming from. Okay, so and those are my goals. So this book, The Master Key System, is a great tool. I read it the first time in 2011. I've probably read it close to 9 or 10 times now. I love this book. Everything in it may not align up with what you believe, but I believe it will help you to expand your mind. There are many, many people today who claim that the Master Key System is the greatest book ever written. I say that it's one of the greatest books ever written, but not the greatest book ever written. It is, though, one of the finest studies in personal power, metaphysics, and prosperity consciousness that exists, in my opinion, from what I've been able to determine. The master key cultivates and develops the understanding which will enable you to control your body and ultimately your health. It will help to improve and strengthen your memory. We all need to do that, right? It will help you to develop insights into the laws of abundance and will help you to put yourself in harmony with it and ultimately share its benefits. Somebody type in the chat law of abundance. This course is designed for entrepreneurs, okay? Those of you who want to do for self. We live in a society where our ability to do for self has been stripped from us. The fact that we were brought here as Black people, as slaves, and our language, name, identity, and all history were stripped from us, leaving us completely dependent upon our slave masters. We were held in this position by force, and later by law, and today by institutional bias and mental manipulation. Okay, type that in: institutional bias and mental manipulation. I just saw a video today somebody sent me from TikTok where there was a sister in New York who was protesting some techniques that were being used by the school system. And she said that she was a 40-year veteran of the school system. And she said they stopped teaching children a long time ago. Now they're just teaching compliance. So critical thinking and this kind of mind pliability stuff is just not at all even taught. I don't know if it was ever taught, but I do know that critical thinking has all but left the educational system. And this is a method of colonization that extends through today and creates what is commonly known as the haves and the have-nots. Some people say it's still a form of slavery, but it's all mental here. And this is why in my book, I state that marginalization is an equal opportunity offender, because unless you and I get some mental strategies that give us a leg up, we will be hard pressed to win against a system of oppression. And based upon my belief system, we need God Himself to help us out. Somebody type in chat, we need God Himself, and we actually have Him. And there's a new system of thinking and believing that will help us to prepare us to accept our own and be ourselves. Help us to understand the laws of the universe and allow Allah to use us to make Himself known. This old way of thinking can only be eradicated by the development of our minds, people. So let's dive into this book. Consider this manifestation series, kind of like a book club. And our book is The Master Key System, written by Charles F. Hannal. And your assignment was to read up through the first chapter, or part 1, so that we could go over the study questions this evening. And I provided a link to a reading of part 1. But what I'm going to try to do is do an audio recording of part 2 and post that for you all, because I know a lot of y'all don't like reading. So I want to make this as easy for us as possible. So I'm going to assume that we've read part 1. And even if you have not read part 1, I think that these study questions and answers will be good to you. You can always go back and read it afterwards. It doesn't take that long to read, maybe 30 minutes at the most. So I'm going to start in with the end of the part, or the end of each chapter has study questions and answers. Okay. If you have questions when I go through this, hold on to your questions. You can always comment in the chat, but hold on to your questions, because what we're going to do is I'll do a post and we'll answer those questions on the post so that we can all kind of benefit from what everybody is asking. Y'all okay? Let me know if y'all all right. All right, here we go. Number 1, the question is, what is the world without in relation to the world within? It's what is the world without in relation to the world within? The world without, and like I said, this is kind of old school English. So the world without is the world outside of us versus the world within us, or the God within us. The world without is a reflection of the world within. Somebody put that in the chat. The world without is a reflection of the world within. What that means is that the world on the outside of us is a reflection of the world within us. Again, remember, my personal goal and reason for doing for self is complete submission to the will of Allah, to help Allah God make Himself known, and to control my mind and ego enough so that Allah can flow through me. I repeat that because I know that everyone here does not have the same goal. So I want you to understand where I'm coming from. We spoke earlier about a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that said, "Thought is the power that changes your physical reality. The world within is governed by our thoughts." Interesting, right? We have in the Nation of Islam a series of study guides called Self-Improvement, the Basis of Community Development. I suggest that everyone go to the Final Call website and order them, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan introduces the concept of the God within. And we are taught not to silence the God within. The God within is like the world within spoken of here in this book. As the God within, or the world within, is developed, the world without, or the world we live in, or our life, is a reflection of our awareness of the God within, and our ability to allow that God within to become strengthened through a series of behaviors, thoughts, awareness, and prayers. Somebody put in the chat, strengthen the God within. Strengthen our awareness to the God within. Can't really strengthen Allah, but we can strengthen our awareness of the God within us. So when we are looking at our businesses and our progress or lack of progress, we must begin with this concept in order to begin to identify how to improve the results of our businesses. The success of our business begins with our minds and our world within which then begins to reflect in the business and in those that work for you. So a lot of people seem to think that all they got to do is just say, I have a business and everything will work out okay. Well, a business requires you to improve in order for the business to improve. So as the God within you becomes more prevalent in your life, you become a better conscious entrepreneur. You are much more able to introduce products and services into your community that solve problems. Okay. And we'll talk more about that. You all know, those who follow me know that we talk about that. We talk about pivoting away from predatory capitalism that we've been taught in school into a way of being a conscious entrepreneur that makes doing for self a journey towards enlightenment and a journey towards freedom, a true journey towards freedom. Here's a second question. Upon what does all possession depend? Put that in the chat. Upon what does all possession depend? The author asked that question. Then the author says that all possession is based on consciousness. Now, y'all know we've been talking all year about conscious entrepreneurship and consciousness. So what is consciousness? I've spoken on this quite a bit. If you follow me, you know that I did a whole radio show on consciousness, okay? There's a link in my social media bios where you can listen to this past episode and others. And most recently, during our masterclass on money psychology, I taught that money and possession hates hypocrites. Put that in the chat. Money and possession hates hypocrites. What's a hypocrite? A hypocrite is a person who claims or pretends to have certain beliefs about what is right, but who behaves in a way that disagrees with those beliefs. I'm going to read that again. A hypocrite is a person who claims or pretends to have certain beliefs about what is right, but who behaves in a way that disagrees with those beliefs. So in this context, I gave the example that you can't talk about how you don't care about money or how money doesn't matter, but then turn around and cry because you don't have any money. Or you say it doesn't matter, but you work all day for it. I gave that switch song. I said, money is like, do you love me? Do you want me? Are you going to call you said you would? Is this really your real phone number? Money is confused. Do you like it or not? Do you want it or not? Do you care about it or not? See, you can't be a hypocrite about money and possessions. And I must add that you should care. You should not worship money, but you damn sure should care about money. See, money gives you choices and options. I give these examples all the time. If you have money, you get sick, or your loved one gets sick, you can choose what doctor or institution you want to go to. You don't have to be relegated. You don't have to have your care relegated to what the insurance companies say. If you have money, you can make a determination on how you educate your children and where you educate your children. You don't have to just say, we can't afford it. They just got to go to public school down the street that may not be teaching them anything. If you have money, you can make choices for food. You can make a decision. If you don't have any money, you might have to go to the dollar menu at McDonald's and eat plastic. So money makes a difference. So the author asked the questions, upon what does all possession depend? And he gives the answer as, all possession is based on consciousness. Put that in the chat. All possession is based on consciousness. All right, so let's go over this again. What is consciousness? Consciousness is defined as the state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings. Somebody says, say it again. Okay, y'all got it. Okay. What is consciousness? Consciousness is defined as the state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings. Think about that for a minute. When we talk about consciousness or conscious entrepreneurs, it means that you are in a state where you are awake and aware of your surroundings. And I expand that to say that the bottom line means more to you than just your net income. You're aware of your surroundings. You're aware of your environment. You're aware of your customer. You're aware of other things that need to be stakeholders in your business and that need to be important to you so that you're contributing and improving your community and not preying on your community by putting money as a god over the members of your community. The awareness or perception of something by a person is also a definition of consciousness. The awareness or perception of something by a person, being aware. See, just think of consciousness as being awake and aware, awake and aware. Okay. It also can mean the fact that the fact of awareness by the mind of itself and the world. So just having an awareness of the space around you, the earth, the consciousness, the people around you, aware of your surroundings, having your head on a swivel. That's being conscious. So a big part of becoming conscious is to become more aware. So you can't just say you're conscious because you know a few things. You have to continue to study so that you become more and more and more aware, so that you wake up more and more. And in the study of emotional intelligence, awareness is said to be the mother of emotional intelligence. Emotional awareness is the mother of emotional intelligence. When you are aware of something, you have knowledge or perception of a situation or a fact. So when you understand how your mind works, you are aware of it because you have knowledge of it. That's why the road to becoming a God means that you have to study yourself. Put that in the chat. Study yourself. When you understand the size of the planet you live on and the distance between where you are and the sun, for example, you have a better sense of awareness of the universe you live in. You're more conscious of the universe you live in. Your awareness leads to your consciousness, which is the basis of all possession. And possession is the state of having, owning, or controlling something. Okay? Possession, I'm going to say that again. You can put that in the chat. Possession is the state of having, owning, or controlling something. That's an important fact because I have this pet peeve about people who think that love is possession. And when you break that down, it just sounds so ugly. They think that when you love someone or love something, then you own them, you have them, and you control them. But no, possession is the state of having, owning, or controlling something. Now, think about how this will help you in your business. As a conscious entrepreneur, the quality of your business is based upon your consciousness, and your consciousness is hinged upon your awareness. Okay? Y'all all right? I want you to write your questions down and we're going to put them on the post later. But I love the way you all are interacting in the chat because this kind of stuff requires movement in order for you to get it. And you're going to have to go back and read the chapter. And, next week we might be able to do some Q&A because we won't have such a long introduction. I won't have to explain everything. Here's the third question. How is the individual related to the objective world? And in the book, in this particular chapter, there was a lot of explanations about this, but I'm just going over the Q&A and giving some commentary on it. How is the individual related to the objective world? Check this out. The individual is related to the objective world by the objective mind. The brain is the organ of this mind. Now, I like the use of the word objective here. I like it in the context of objective being a thing aimed at or sought, a goal. So here's the question again. How is the individual related to the objective world? So how are you as an individual related to the world that you seek or the condition in your business that you seek. Okay. And I said, I like it in this context because objective is a thing aimed at or sought, a goal. So the world we are seeking is related to the mind or mindset we are developing or seeking. I'm going to say that again. The world we are seeking is related to the mind or the mindset we are developing or seeking. So, if we are seeking certain results in our businesses, we have to seek the mindset that will create those desired results. They're interrelated. I want y'all to put this in the chat. If we are seeking certain results in our businesses, we have to seek the mindset that will create those desired results. I'll say it again. If we are seeking certain results in our businesses, we have to seek the mindset that will create those desired results. All right, here's number 4. How is he or you related to the universal mind? I'll rephrase that question. How are you related to the universal mind? And the author is referring to the universal mind as God or Allah or Jehovah, whatever language you use to reference that universal mind. And the answer that the author gives is interesting. He says, you are related to the universal mind by the subconscious mind. You are related to the universal mind by your subconscious mind. So you are related to Allah by your subconscious mind. The physical mechanism for that is the solar plexus, which is the organ that reflects most directly the mind. Let's break that down a little bit. So how are you related to Allah, God, Jehovah, or universal mind in this context? Okay. Well, through the development of your subconscious mind is how you are related. Check this out. Some people call our body the subconscious mind. Have y'all ever heard of that? That your body is your subconscious mind? Tell me in the chat if you heard before that your body is the subconscious mind. That's a whole nother discussion. The author says that the solar plexus is the organ of this mind. Well, the solar plexus is what? It's a complex of ganglia and radiating nerves of the sympathetic system at the pit of your stomach. Those nerves are most sensitive to what is going on in your mind. That's why when you get stressed, you may suffer from stomach issues. Those nerves impact your immune system. So ailments like acid reflux or other gastric issues, including stomach ulcers, gas, indigestion, are all signs that there are issues in your solar plexus and that there is an issue with your connection to the universal mind. That's deep, right? In those of you who speak chakra language, it's the chakra located between the area between your rib cage and your navel. It's responsible for the expression of our will and our intellectual abilities. It is often called the accounting mind, that categorizes everything, assesses the pluses and minuses in life, and impacts our ability to establish ideas and bring plans into reality. When we learn to strengthen the God within, this part of our body can convey wisdom to us. I'm going to say that again. When we learn to strengthen our awareness of the God within, this part of our body can convey wisdom to us. That's where the phrase trust your gut comes from. Have you all heard that? Trust your gut? That's where it comes from. It's because that pack of nerves Right there in that part of your stomach is the piece of your body that reflects your connection to Allah or to the universal mind or to Jehovah, to God. It's the part of your body that reflects that and then conveys wisdom to us. So sometimes people say, I trust my gut. My gut told me this. But you know what? Sometimes we eat too much and the gut can't talk because it's so busy digesting all the food we ate. This is why it's good when we follow the dietary program of how to eat to live, of eating one meal a day between the hours of 4 to 6. Y'all all right? Let me know in the chat if y'all doing okay. All right, here's number 5. Here's number 5. What is the universal mind? Okay, type that in the chat. What is the universal mind? The universal mind is the life principle of every atom which is in existence. I'll tell you that again. The universal mind, or Allah, whatever wording you use, is the life principle of every atom which is in existence. An atom is the smallest unit of ordinary matter that forms a chemical element. It is the basic building block of matter. And so what is matter? Matter is a physical substance that occupies space. So in order to use our minds to create matter, we must be connected to the universal mind or to Allah, because He is the life principle of every atom in existence. And the atom is the smallest form of matter, or at least what we know today. So I would add to this that not only is the universal mind the life principle of every atom, but also the life principle of every other form of matter that exists as a result of the cracking of the original atom. Y'all didn't hear me. Y'all missed that. Y'all gonna have to go back and listen to this. I relate this to business by keeping small details the size of an atom or a mustard seed. An atom is way smaller than a mustard seed, but y'all hear me say this all the time. The level of integrity has to be what I call mustard seeds of integrity. The devil and the love is in the details in any relationship, in your business relationship, your personal relationship, your relationships with your vendors, your employees, how you design, how you develop, how you manage your business, how you create your products. The devil and the love is in the details. Okay. I also relate this to business because our brain is programmed. Y'all got to listen to me on this. Take a deep breath and listen to this one. This is when I get to be all scientific on y'all. I also relate this to business because our brain is programmed to rely on Allah to use our thoughts to produce matter, right? Your brain is structured and set up so that it must connect to a universal mind or to Allah in order to produce matter. It's so good at it that it does it without you even thinking about it in most cases. But if we are part of a system, a biased and racist system of behavior, like slavery, that takes away your connection to Allah and substitutes an institution or a slave master with an agenda, or a colonizer with an agenda, then the matter you produce will be limited to what they allow you to produce. Limited, why? Because you are not pulling on the nourishment of the universe. You are pulling on a sucker. And a sucker has no roots in anything. That sucker sucks the lifeblood out of you, and you can only produce what the sucker allows you to produce. And you'll be limited because the sucker has no root in anything. It's sucking on you. And it's disconnected you from that universal mind. That limited production will cause frustration. The frustration will twist your intellect, and you will no longer have faith in your ability to produce matter based upon your intellect and your creativity. All your energy will go towards trying to prevent the sucker from sucking you up and killing you. You'll be in survival mode 24 hours a day. All your energy will go towards begging the sucker to give you more and to give you what you need when you can really produce it yourself. You will eventually forget and lose your ability and your desire to do for self. That's somebody's word right there. I feel like pacing, but I can't get up, and y'all can't hear me if I start pacing. Here's number 6. How can the individual act on the universal? How can the individual act on the universal? The ability of the individual to think is his or her ability to act upon the universal and bring it into manifestation. That's the author's answer. The author asked the question, how can the individual act on the universal? The answer is the ability of the individual to think is his or her ability to act upon the universal and bring it into manifestation. That's heavy. So let's go back to the minister's statement that he made in a speech at the Final Call building called The Man Yaqub. What is his place in history? He said, thought is the power that changes your physical reality. Put that in the chat. Thought is the power that changes your physical reality. Thought is the power that changes your physical reality. Your thoughts are so powerful that they can change your appearance and even make you physically ill. But they can also enhance the fertility of your mind and cause you to connect to Allah in a way that manifests what is in your mind. See, our thoughts travel at the average rate of 24 billion miles per second, according to our supreme wisdom. And then light travels 186,000 miles per second. Let me say that again. Thoughts travel at 24 billion miles per second. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. So your thoughts travel faster than light. I'm going to have y'all do something real quick. I'll wait. Walk over to the light switch and turn it off and turn it back on again. I'm going to wait. Tell me in the chat when you're done. Walk over to the light switch, turn it off, and turn it back on again. And let me know in the chat when y'all get back from doing that. You see how fast that light went off and back on? Your thoughts travel faster than that light can illuminate the room. Think about that. Your thoughts travel faster than that light can illuminate the room. You can't even flick the light on and off faster than you can think. That's deep. That's how powerfully fast your thoughts are. Think about that the next time you speak negativity into your life or into the life of someone else. This is why gossip, slander, and slack talk are so crippling. They tear up our organizations. And let me tell you something, they will rip your business apart. But yet we live in a world where spilling the tea is normal. It's an evil thing made fair seeming, because if you put negativity out there about somebody and you get hundreds, maybe even thousands of minds thinking about this person in that negative way, think about how you're impacting that person's life. Think about how quickly you can impact that person's life. How much more mental force does that person need to exert in order to overpower your negativity, especially when you multiply it by gossiping, slandering, and slack talking? This is why companies have cancerous cultures, Because once that gets in your culture, you almost have to cut out half of the business to get away with it. Get it out of there. But you know what? If that person connects to Allah or the universal mind and petitions that universal mind or Allah for help, thus deepening that connection, what do you think the universal energetic response is to the person spreading the negativity or wallowing in the low vibration? This is all about cause and effect. So that negative thought, that gossipy thought, that slanderous thought, that evil thought has an effect. It has an effect on your life, has an effect on your business, it has an effect on your investors, your vendors, your employees. This leads us to the next study question, number 7. What is the result of this action and interaction? The result of this action and interaction is cause and effect. Every thought is a cause and every condition is an effect. Put that in the chat. Every thought is a cause and every condition is an effect. So everything you think is the beginning, and that thought has an effect on something. It creates a condition. Put that in the chat. Every thought is a cause and every condition is an effect. So I was dealing with this the other day. I was working on a solution to a challenge, and I kept repeating the condition or the result in my mind. Like, oh, why is this happening? Why is this not happening? What's going on? I kept regurgitating over and over and over again the condition or the effect. And then it hit me. I keep getting the same result because my cause is the same. And since every thought is a cause, I need a different thought or a different cause if I want a different condition or a different effect. So I began to come up with ways to expand my thoughts, make it more general, since the effect was not quite what I wanted. We discussed this on our New Year's Eve manifestation class. So if you have a persisting problem, stop focusing on the problem and tweak your cause or your thought instead. And tweaking your cause means you have to tweak your thoughts. So tweak your thoughts. If you're trying to solve a problem, instead of just constantly looking at what's wrong and bumping your head up against the wall, pull back and say, what's my thought about this? What's my cause? Why am I really doing this? Explore your cause, because the result of your action and interaction is cause and effect. So every thought is a cause and every condition is an effect. Number 8, how are harmonious and desirable conditions secured? Put that in the chat. How are harmonious and desirable conditions secured? How are harmonious and desirable conditions secured? Harmonious and desirable conditions are obtained by right thinking. When something is harmonious, it feels good. It sounds good. It's in harmony. It's a vibe. It's pleasing. It's an agreement. The tone is soothing. So when you think, it's almost like if you're around somebody and you got to spend some time with them. If there are things that you all like to do that make you in harmony with one another, it just makes it so easy and so soothing and so much easier to create longevity in that relationship. But if you aren't in harmony, y'all don't like the same things, y'all don't even like each other, y'all got different body clocks, all this other stuff, then you have disharmony. It's not soothing. So right thinking creates a vibration. And the type of thinking we described in the last question creates a vibe. One is more fruitful and pleasing and more in alignment with the vibration of the universe. The other is less of a vibrational match with the universe. See, the universe pulsates. Did y'all know that? Just like your heart beats and your organs are pulsating, you feel your veins, your body is pulsating. So does the universe. So does the earth. Think about that. Just think about that. The universe pulsates and vibrates, and so do you. So you think about it. If you're pulsating and vibrating with the same rhythm and in harmony with the universe, with that fast thinking mind you have, there's no end to what you can create. It's infinite. See, the pulsation and the vibration is in harmony also with the movement of the planets in the universe. So as the planets are moving and revolving, there's a harmony. They're moving, revolving, and pulsating. That's what you're doing. Our bodies pulsate in a rhythm that I say is in line with the universal pulsation. It's like a song. My business partner at the surgery center used to say, everybody in the OR has to function like a song. And it made me think about the universe. There are certain emotions that are more in harmony with this pulsation than others. Love is said to be one of the most harmonious emotions. Y'all hear me say all the time that love is a superpower. I love Rumi and all his poetry about love. Love is the highest frequency you can vibrate in and the highest state of consciousness. In the pure frequency of love, there is gratitude, creation, happiness, and oneness. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to put this in the chat. In the pure frequency of love, there is gratitude, creation, happiness, and oneness. So if in that pure frequency, there's gratitude, creation, and happiness and oneness, if we're mimicking what is inside of that frequency, then we begin to vibrate with the universe. But wrong thinking destroys the harmony we have with the universe. Wrong thinking is not grateful, nor is it creative, nor is it unifying. So this wrong thinking directly impacts the conditions in which we live. This is how the manipulators of the world we live in control us. By reducing our vibrational connection to Allah and introducing behaviors that align us vibrationally with their agenda. Y'all don't hear me. Number 9, we got 2 more. We rolling. We got 2 more. Number 9, what is the cause of all discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation? Let's put that in the chat. What is the cause of all discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation? What is the cause of all discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation? Discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation are the result of wrong thinking. This reminds me again of a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in that same speech where he said, the power of frustration actually twists your intellect or your intelligence. Frustration is the prevention of the progress, success, or fulfillment of something. So if frustration twists your intelligence, what is frustration? It's the prevention of the progress, success, or fulfillment of something. Frustration often causes wrong thinking. That's how it twists up our intellects. It makes us think wrong. Because like we just mentioned previously, every thought is a cause and every condition is an effect. So if you get frustrated and you can't think straight, then you're producing an effect. You're creating conditions that are born out of your frustration. If your thoughts are producing frustration and you are focused on your lack of progress or lack of success or lack of fulfillment, you have to trace that effect or condition back to wrong thinking. Somebody said, what is the answer to the last question? The question is, what is the cause of all discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation? The answer is discord, inharmony, lack, and limitation are the result of wrong thinking. And again, I'll create a post where we can just post our comments and questions, and we can spend this week just asking questions and talking. And if I have to come and do a live on IG or something, we'll do another live before next week. Here's the last one. What is the source of all power? I'm going to say it again. You can put this in the chat. What is the source of all power? That's what the author asked. And the answer is, the source of all power is the world within, the universal fountain of supply, the infinite energy of which each individual is an outlet. That's deep. Because if you got the universal mind, which is Allah, and you're an outlet of that universal mind, then you can plug into the source. My goal is to activate the world within so that it aligns with the universal mind or Allah, and then He will dwell within me. I want to give you a quote that I got from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad on the Table Talks. Actually, it was posted today, and I thought it went perfectly with this number 10. He said, Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. There is no God besides Him. So know that Allah is one. You cannot find a match for Him. And I want you to think about that in conjunction to that last question. What is the source of all power? So, y'all all right? For next week, I want you to read part 2. I'll work on posting a reading of this for those of you who prefer the audio version. Stay close to social media, at MOEToday Universe on IG, at The Authentic You on Twitter, at Sajdah Wendy Muhammad on Facebook. And I'll create a post, inshallah, in a few minutes where you can post your comments and questions. And I'll post it on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. And we can just respond and chat and just kind of create our own little social media motivational universe based on some of these principles that we're exploring. If you got anything out of today, don't chip and dip me. Y'all hear me say that on Saturday. I got that from my girl Kane. Don't chip and dip me. Please give back. I don't charge what my colleagues are charging for this type of course. They give me a hard time about it. They call me every time I post that I'm doing something for free or for $150 or $25. They're like, what are you doing? But I believe that we deserve access to mental strategies, and many of us have not yet mastered thought in a way that we can afford to pay $5,000 for group classes like this, or $50,000 for one-on-one sessions. That's what they cost. So make a comment on social media about the class, bring a friend next time, purchase my book, The Mind of an Entrepreneur, on Amazon, or even just make a donation. You can just Cash App a couple dollars so we can keep doing this for free. I'm gonna put the Cash App in the chat here, so we can keep doing this for free, because I want everybody to have access to this type of knowledge. I've always thought it was unfair when I would get invited to these mastermind groups with these big millionaires and billionaires, and they'd be talking about this stuff, talking about the pliability of their minds and how to manifest and make things happen. And I'd look around the room and I said, where are we at? Where are we at? We're not in a room. So when it comes to taking this type of supreme wisdom and applying it to business and doing for self, we're just not in that space. But be it the will of Allah, we will be, and we are now in that space because we're learning these principles. We got the Black Muslim Business Directory. We've got the Mind of an Entrepreneur shows and series on Black Muslim businesses to really help us get up and do something for ourselves. So if you're in this course and want some one-on-one coaching, there's a link in the bio on my social media pages where you can sign up for one-on-one coaching. I'm only charging $150 a session, but I have to limit the time slots because my schedule can be a little busy and is going to get a little busier. But I want to help to the extent that I can. I want you guys to know that I wish you all more love and goodness than you've ever received or imagined. I pray that you're blessed beyond measure. And most importantly, I pray that you experience peace no matter what is happening inside of you or around you. Don't forget your homework for tonight. That's outlined at the end of the chapter. Let me pull up the homework. The homework is this, and you guys got to do this. This is one of the things that I've been doing for many, many years. I used to get teased when I first came in the mosque because I was the meditation girl. They was like, she's weird. But I want you to select a room. This is the homework. Select a room where you can be alone and undisturbed. Sit erect, comfortably, but do not lounge. So don't do this, don't lay down, and let your thoughts roam where they will, but be perfectly still for 15 minutes to a half an hour. I want you to continue this for 3 or 4 days, or for a week, or until you feel secure and feel that you're in full control of your physical being. This is an important discipline because a lot of us cannot sit still for 15 minutes. Sit there. There's a couple of ways that I meditate. I pray first to calibrate myself and put myself in a certain space. So generally, my biggest meditation sessions are after prayer. Sometimes I count my breath. Sometimes I just listen to the rhythm of my breath. Usually, if you're counting your breath, it's hard to think about anything else. So counting your breath is good. I listen to sounds. So I'll listen to air blowing, air condition, heat. That's good. If you have birds outside that are chirping, you can just meditate to the sound of the birds and just really try to deeply hear it. But the idea is to sit there for 15 minutes, not deeply entertain thoughts. Thoughts are going to come, but let them just float past. Okay. But spend that time. This is going to be really key to us controlling our minds. Okay. So with that, family, I'll see you all, inshallah, on Saturday. We have the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talks. Before we get off, give me a little feedback in the chat if you got anything out of today. If you enjoyed it, if you're going to come back next week, if you feel like it was worth free. Like I said, make a comment, purchase a book, make a donation, whatever you want, but give back because I want to create that flow. I don't want you to sit there stagnant and receive the information and just sit it. I want you to get used to flow and the flow of money and goodness and abundance in your life. So whatever you can do to give, do that. And if none of those are available to you, and even if they are, one of the things I love the most are your prayers. And I get some of the most beautiful prayers from you all. And I'm so grateful for those prayers. So thank you for your feedback. I see people. Oh, somebody said, what's the Cash App? That's it. I just put it in the chat. It's MOEToday, MOEToday. Yes, be back next week. I got my own homework because what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on making an audio recording of part 2 so that you can maybe listen along with reading because some people struggle with reading or even struggle with the type of language that is used in some of these older types of books. And as soon as we get off here today, I'll make a post that we can put up on social media and start asking some questions and making some comments. So thank you. Thank you for not chipping and dipping me. I'm going to put that in the chat. Don't chip and dip me. Sit up here and eat up all my chips and dips and don't give me nothing back. Let's create the flow of energy. So that's just a personal practice of mine. If I visit your home, I'm almost always going to bring some kind of gift. I don't care if I just bring you a case of water or do something, but it's always about just creating that flow in our life and moving energy and pulsating right with the universe. All right. So with that, you all, wishing you nothing but goodness and peace. I pray that you all are safe and send you much, 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 much love. So peace and blessings, everyone. And I'll see you all Saturday.